Welcome in, everyone. Today's review is the New Republic E-Wing for Shin Hati's Starship. Let's get into it. With set number 75364, this set has 1,056 pieces, includes 5 minifigures, and at a $110 price point, it's at 10 cents per piece. Taking a quick look back on some of the dual ship Star Wars sets, obviously the most famous one was back in 2009, the Republic dropship ATOT. That one is currently valued at $2,500. It is one of the most expensive sets of all time. My personal favorite on this one is the 2006 Darth Vader A-Wing. Ship doesn't really look like much, I promise you. Back then it was retailed at $89. Now it's worth about $175. And then jumping forward a little bit to 2023, which was last year, you have the Mandalorian dual ship, and then you have the New Republic dual ship for this one. I don't know if any of these sets will be worth nearly as much as $2,500. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Taking a look at the box, and I know what you're thinking, I'm automatically going to hate on it, but I don't really hate on it. Sure, it doesn't have any scenes from the actual show on the box, but that's okay, because this one has that actually cool turquoise to it. It has the planet, and even on the back side, it has a little bit of the details of some of the features of both of the ships, and the ships are on the planet, so it shows a little bit of it in the atmosphere, so box art, not so bad. Unfortunately, getting into the instructions, there's nothing to see here. It's kind of disappointed, but it is to be expected. You guys know me. I always want a little bit more with my instructions. I personally use the digital options. I don't even use the instructions, but nonetheless, it would still be nice to see something. This set includes 5 minifigures, and all of which are one of ones. So each one of these minifigures have never been made before. Let's dive into it. First up, I know there's a droid community out there. There always is. And for Astromechs, this one's pretty cool. The yellow and blue is absolutely perfect. There is just no print on that backside, which is what it is. If there's one thing that I love about this Captain Porter minifigure, it's the helmet. The blue and the yellow really pop off. If Star Wars could do anything right, or Lego I should say, they need to replicate this helmet and do a mass production on all the pilots. That's enough with the good guys. Let's move on to the bad guys. Next up, we have Morgan Elsbeth. And if you were to ask me if I was expecting more, the answer would be yes. Was I expecting less? The answer is still yes. So I guess this minifigure is as good as you're going to get. Moving on to Balin, I was actually surprised about this one. It's a little bit better than I expected. I love the green on the torso. I kind of wish he had a cape, not gonna lie. I wish there was a little bit more attention to detail on that one. Other than that, this minifigure looks so good. Absolutely love it, and he'll probably be worth some money one day. Next up, we have Shin Hati. It sounds like a rapper and R&B singer, so I like the name. The torso is kind of off a little bit. I guess with the picture shown here and what she actually looks like, she definitely has a weird haircut. But other than that, I guess they did a pretty good job. Overall, out of all of these minifigures, I was expecting at least one of a kind of minifigure. You know, one that sticks out, arm print, leg print, the whole like shebang. You know, a minifigure that you can really put on display that's going to be worth money possibly one day. And with this set, I just don't even know. It's in question. I love these figs. I just think they could have maybe done a little bit better. Now moving on to the meat and potato of this set, which are the ships, and this is the New Republic E-Wing, and I too like this one. Actually building this one, it's a little bit beefier and meatier than to be expected, and as you can tell, it looks like a really good ship. I did have to use my own stand, but I digress. After the E-Wing, we have Shin Hati's Starfighter, and I love the colors in this one. The red and the yellow reminds me of the ASU Sun Devils, which is a pretty cool team. But nonetheless, I had to put it on a stand here just to showcase it. But it looks like a really cool ship so far. The first ship we're going to get into is going to be the E-Wing, and there's not that many features on this one. The astromech fits perfectly in the back, and the minifigure hops in the cockpit. There are some blasters in here, and then we're going to get into the landing gear a little bit later. But other than that, it's a pretty solid ship so far. The cool thing about the Starfighter is there's 3 compartments here. There's the cockpit, then there's a spot for her actual lightsaber, and then in the front pocket is a spot for a pistol, which I do like that. You can obviously throw some binoculars in there also, so there's some pretty cool little compartments in this one. Getting into the durability with these ships, as you can tell, the Starfighter, it actually holds up. If I hold it with one hand, it doesn't really flop down or it feels like it's going to break at all. I guess I would be a little bit careful, but for the most part, the Starfighter holds up perfectly fine and has some cool little landing things on the bottom to protect it. So overall, the Starfighter is pretty cool. Now getting into the E-Wing, I wanted to show the underbelly of this because you would think that the wings would flop down or flop forward or move around. They do not move around. This thing is really solid, and with the landing gear being what it is, we're going to get into that a little bit later. It's a really cool ship and it's so solid. I absolutely love the build on this one because I was not expecting it. I thought I was definitely expecting it to be a lot more flimsier than this. I will say, getting into some of the details of this ship, you could tell the colors are really good. I mean, they did a good job with the details. It is just an average dual ship set, I would say, but nonetheless, it does look pretty cool, and I wanted to show these photos off. Talking about the details really quick, when it comes to the landing gear on the E-Wing, I know what you're thinking. Oh, who cares about landing gear? And I get it. Normally, we don't really care. But when it comes to ships, landing gear is kind of important sometimes. If they do it right, it makes the ship look so much better. If they do it wrong, it makes the ship look so much worse. So with the E-Wing, I just love how they did this. You can tuck the landing gear right inside and you can never see it again. Or you can leave it out and it pops it up just enough for the wings to not touch the ground. So I had to give this a little bit of attention here, and I hope you enjoy it just as much as I do. Alright, now let's pop over to the grading scale. I'm going to grade this on experience, display, minifigures, and of course, price per piece. Now when it comes to experience, as you guys know, I rated on the overall, do I feel like I really got ripped off? And for this one, I would say it's a 9 out of 10. It's a really good price. You definitely get a lot for your money as far as 4 minifigures, 2 ships. They're decently built, so I kind of liked it. So overall experience, it lasted a couple days to build, so it wasn't overall too bad for 110 bucks. Now here's where the set's downfall is, and that's display. I understand the E-Wing has a really good display with it, but the Starfighter has no display. So what I had to do, as you can tell, is I just went on Amazon and I bought a couple of stands. You should do the same. It's like 20 bucks for 2 stands or $15, something like that. And look at the difference when you actually add a stand. It looks so much better. Matter of fact, I've added stands to a lot of my sets, especially some of the ships, because you definitely want to make it look good. That Starfighter just laying down by itself looks pitiful. Now getting into the minifigures, and I know what you're thinking, how can I rate this an 8 out of 10? And let me tell you, yes, these are all one of ones, and yes, there was nothing to really be expected. Again, I'm going off of I wish there was one of a kind minifigure where you just put on display and you're just like, wow, this is just the coolest minifigure of the year. And this set had plenty of opportunities to do that, and unfortunately kind of didn't. But hey, I still give it an 8 out of 10. Don't judge me too hard. Lastly, price per piece. If Star Wars sets are at a dime per piece, I'm giving it a 10. No matter what, 10 out of 10. There is no arguments here. Anything more than that is in question. But the overall score for this one is an 8 out of 10. I do understand it's already been a year out, but I would still get it. 8 out of 10 is not bad. I think they could have maybe done a little bit more with it. I loved the colors. I loved the minifigures. Of course, I wish they would have done a little bit more, but that's okay. I love the landing gear. The Starfighter is kind of short when it comes to display-wise, but other than that, it's pretty cool, and it's actually a really good build. That E-Wing is a solid build, and if you ask any other reviewer, they would tell you the same. That E-Wing is a really good build, and I wish you can give me about a dozen of those. And Captain Porter's helmet, I wish you'd give me about another dozen of those. So it's really cool to see some colors when it comes to Star Wars. It definitely really grinds my gears getting all the gray and black ships, but I do understand it is Star Wars. It is what it is. Anyways, this set is 8 out of 10. So if you guys like my reviews, want to see more of my reviews, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys on the next one.